Hello world, how are you all doing? How it's going? How's your Friday? How was your week? I hope you're all doing great. And we're back with another episode on the Open Focus Timer. And today we will have some focus on iOS. Quite a bit of that actually. And this is the summary of the last stream. So what did we do in the last stream? Let's quickly have a look. So we progressed on the navigation for iOS, so the basic navigation on iOS even was not working. We were fully focused on macOS till now. And so we had like 3 windows. We had one settings window, we had one main window, we had a window for the timer that we're working on. And yeah, we basically made sure that on iOS we have one window where all the free parts are shown in separate tabs. So the basic, like the base level navigation is now done, but there's still a lot to do. We have written down all of these things that we found out that are not working quite well on iOS yet. For example, and we added some screenshots here. For example, this here kind of looks ugly or not native on iOS. And like that, we have many of these things. And that's what I'm going to focus on this stream. So that's the content for today. And we also fixed with iOS navigation the time plus the timer and improved some placement instead of HStack. I don't know how it's for you. It's so hot right now here in Germany, especially in the town I live in, really warm. And I'm sweating here. I'm so sorry if my face starts sweating. But yeah. Problems. We came across some Xcode crashes, and actually there's a new Xcode version out now, and I'm not sure if I have it here. Yes, I have it here already, so I have installed it for my private. But there was no real changes from my point of view that I noticed. Like, I don't know. Maybe stability, we'll see if Xcode crashes less now, we will see about that. For some reason also the pickers are disabled on iOS. I don't know why, and we need to investigate that. I don't know if we have that here. Not really, so maybe we should add it here as a to-do. Pickers are disabled. So we'll check that out as well. But before we get to that, actually, quick round of information as always. So my Medium, you can always follow me on Medium, and I am writing currently. I can show you a preview of that. I am currently writing the Swift Evolution monthly issue for May, and I'm nearly done, so you can basically see that I have written already quite a few things. Just the end isn't finished, so I'll try to finish that up sometime today and probably release that tomorrow. So watch out for a new Swift Evolution monthly issue tomorrow on jihad.medium.com. Also on Twitter, as always, I have actually been, in the last week I have been quite active. I asked several questions, things like, for example, I asked if you're interested in a WWDC watch party with me here in streaming here live on Twitch, and maybe some other streamers as well. So we could basically watch it together, and we could basically talk about it afterwards. And if you haven't done already, make sure to actually, let me send you a link into the chat. Make sure to take part in this survey so I can make an informed decision. For now, only 24 votes, which I don't see as very much interest, to be honest. So also the vote count itself, I think shows like how much interest there is. So yeah, we'll see about that. And also, if you don't follow me on YouTube yet, make sure to follow on YouTube. Hey Kokotai, welcome. How are you doing? You're in. You want to stream with me? That would be amazing. That would be great. So we already have then 2 people maybe here. Please let me know. Also, if you don't follow me on YouTube yet, make sure to do that. We have reached 65 subscribers, and if I reach 100 subscribers, the cool thing is I can finally rename this thing, this UCTG6CK7OYA, and you see what I mean? This thing I can rename to just Flying Dev, and yeah, I need 100 subscribers for that, so that would be cool to have that. So let me also post the channel in case somebody is not following yet. That would be really helpful. But that's that for the shout out for this week. And yeah, I think we should get going. So I will just copy these things here to create today's summary. This is open focus timer part 22. And let's just paste the to-dos here. Great, let's have a look at our app actually. And there's one more thing actually related to this. Let me also open Xcode and let me run the app, because then I want to do something which was requested on Twitter, or basically I suggested that. So let's open the focus timer. Let's wait for it to check out the package graph, because this is an updated Xcode version. I have not opened it yet here for this project. Oh, this was fast. I thought it would take longer. Well, let's run this. Let's run the macOS app for now. Or actually, maybe we should do it with an iOS simulator. I think that's more realistic. So the topic is, just to get on that, basically, let me see my tweet, my replies here. Yeah, here we go. So this is the thread. And basically Via here asked, streaming on an M1 MacBook Air 8 gigabytes of RAM, is this safe? And that was the question, and I thought, yeah, well, actually I'm streaming tomorrow, so I can just basically check this out. I don't know if Via is here in the chat. I'm guessing not. Maybe she'll join later, but for sure I think it's useful for her if we just check that. And I have actually checked some things already up front. So I basically made a before OBS screenshot, after OBS screenshot, and now I'm going to make a after Xcode screenshot, but we don't. This is not compiling right now, so this is fun. That's interesting. Why it's not compiling? I don't know why. Let me try again. Yeah, it's not compiling because of this thing here. Let me actually just comment this out. Okay, we'll just run the macOS application then. Should be a good pointer as well. So we want to know how much RAM I need if I stream with OBS, with like 2 browsers open, some tabs open, Xcode open, and Xcode running things. Let's actually just look it up now. So this is Activity Monitor, and you can see all the things that are running in OBS. It's actually using quite a bit. You see like it's got a lot of helpers for different things, I'm guessing, that it's doing, and we're using 13 gigabytes of memory. So it basically looks like 8 gigabyte might not work, but actually I always see like really full memory even if I don't really use things. And I also made screenshots to compare for a reason. So we can look at before OBS. So I have nothing started. This is a freshly started computer, and this was already using 6.6 gigabytes of memory. So in my opinion, this is not going to be the case for an 8 gigabyte RAM Mac. And I think also that this memory isn't basically fully like required or something. You can see there's like, if you put this all together, I don't think it's going to be 6.6 gigabytes. I don't know why it's showing 6.6 gigabytes here. To me, it feels like this is not really accurate. I don't know. Maybe there's someone here who knows how these things are calculated by macOS, but that's what it says. And then after OBS screenshots, well, I just started OBS, just see the difference. So you can have a look, 6.6 gigabyte to 10.5. So you can see OBS itself, but with my configuration, I have like a few layers. I have the screen, I have my webcam, I have like music, and all these things set up on OBS, and I actually wrote an article about it, so you can check my Medium, so jihad.medium.com, where I went into this into some articles, how I set up my things, including the software I'm using, and also screenshots of OBS. So this is the difference between without OBS and with OBS. And now let's also have a look at after Xcode. So with OBS 10.5, and after Expo, and it's actually near to 14 gigabytes. So I hope that this is somewhat useful, and it looks like 8 GB might actually be hard, but also I can imagine that macOS will optimize much better, and also maybe you just have to play around with your OBS setup, and maybe you'll use less layers than I do. Okay, I actually have to, okay, Cocoa Time. In that screenshot, you have it filtered to my processes, which hides a lot of system processes. Ah, you're right. So how was that turned on? Anyways, I gotta go for a second. I will be back in a few minutes. Sorry for that. I'll be back soon. Right. And I'm back. So we were about to make sure that we can see the system processes here. Let me Google that for a minute. Activity monitor not showing system processes. Maybe it's just in the settings. Let me check that. There is none. View. Yeah, there we go. All processes. Oh, that's much more than I was expecting. So, but still, this doesn't look like 12 GB to me. Wow, the Medium website is taking so much memory. That's amazing. And Twitter as well, 260 megabytes. What's that? Crazy. Anyways, that's, I hope, somewhat useful. And we have taken out some screenshots. So it should be helpful maybe to Via. And I'll be posting that later on Twitter, but let's get going. So we have these steps. Let's open the project. We are already in the project, right? Here we go. So in that screenshot, you have it filtered to my processes, which hides a lot of system processes. It's still likely that the system isn't really using that much memory. Some of the system processes like to grab memory, but are quick to release it when it's needed. Yeah, that's my experience as well. So I wouldn't be too concerned about the fact that basically, even from the start, 6.6 gigabytes, I'm sure, again, that on an 8 gigabyte RAM Mac is not the case. That, I mean, it doesn't make sense that you just start your Mac and just with like a browser, like an ad guard and Logitech driver, and that's it. It's not going to take 6.6 gigabytes. And after starting OBS, the change was also, I think the change is more important. So after starting it, it actually took about 4 gigabytes of memory. So that's something interesting to know, which is quite a bit. And I wasn't expecting it to be that much. But also, again, if we just count this together ourselves, like 801 gigabyte, 1.2, 1.4, 1.5, it looks more like 1.5 gigabyte to me here. So I'm not sure if the system, again, is doing things that it really doesn't need to do when you start OBS. And how it's getting to 4 gigabyte, I don't know. It should be like around half of it. And I think if you just try it out on your Mac, you're going to learn much better. And this is maybe showing what it could look like in the worst case. So consider this as a worst case scenario, but I hope it will work better for you. And this again is adding around 3.5 gigabytes if you start Xcode, but it's just showing as 700 megabyte. So yeah, it's kind of, although we have this. Okay, so you can see here it was updating stuff. So what does it look like right now? Yes, you can see it's already less. So this is, I guess, more realistic. So let's use that as an after Xcode. I think this one is just was doing some extra work there. So it's 10.5 gigabyte to 12. I think that's more realistic, so that it adds around 2 gigabytes. And if you count OBS as 2 gigabytes and Xcode also around 2 gigabytes, you have 4 gigabytes of memory that you need after starting your Mac. So if your Mac after starting still has 4 gigabytes, I think it should work. If it's fun, that's a different story, but I think it should work. Okay, enough of the tweet. And let's get back to the app, and it was not compiling, so this is maybe the thing that we should start with. So why is it not compiling? Covariant cell type cannot be referenced from a stored property initializer. Oh yes, okay, so we have to do it that way. Oh, a Lapras. That one I definitely have to catch. Let's throw an Ultra Ball if I have one. That seems to have worked. Why is this indented this way? This is looking weird. But this is building now again, so let's try again the iOS application. Let me try to run this. I'm actually thinking of replacing all left-hand side and right-hand sides. This is one of these APIs I really don't like the naming that much. At first, when I learned about what it means, I felt smart and I felt like, hey, cool, now I know what this means. Left-hand side and right-hand side. But over time, I learned that it's so easy to overlook. Like, for example, if this was also L, I just wouldn't see this oftentimes, that I have like copy and pasted this over and then I forget changing it to R, because it's just one single character that's different. So I actually don't prefer these names anymore, and I prefer, and maybe we should do the replacement here. I prefer, and maybe we should actually write a lint rule to fix that. So everywhere where I have, I'm sure we have it in multiple places. Yeah, we already have it like at 5 places. And I also want to prevent that I ever write it again. So I'm going to write a lint rule for that in a sec. And why is this at the bottom? Oh, come on, what's going on here? And I can't resize. Let me make full screen and back. Yeah, this helps. Okay, so this is what our app looks like right now. We have the timer, and the timer kind of works. You can see like we are in a timer and we can start it, but we can't change these. So the pickers, for some reason, they were disabled. I really don't know why. The summary kind of works. Doesn't look great, but it kind of works. Yeah, that's a weird simulator bug that happens sometimes. Ah, yeah, so you mean basically that these are disabled. This is the really high title bar. Really high title bar. I'm not sure what you mean. I thought you mean that these are disabled. This is the bug that is here in the simulator. Anyways, this is our sidebar. This is our main view, and in our main view we have a sidebar and a main view basically of the sidebar, or the detail view. And currently you can only see the sidebar, and we don't have any entries here, so it's hard to navigate right now. But I think this might work just as it is once we have entries. But this is something we definitely need to fix. As you can see, we have like a tab bar here and a tab bar there. And I believe this is, yeah, I think we will use a segment control here at the top or something like that for iOS. But at the same time, if we go into categories, we already have a segment and control, and you can also see we have to fix the widths here. The bug where you had full screen and unfull screen. Ah, okay, yeah. As long as there is an easy fix and we don't have to do it every 5 minutes, I'm always like totally okay with these kinds of bugs, because we always have them in Xcode. Xcode is such a huge project. I can totally understand that there are bugs like this. I just need a good workaround, and I need them to fix it like over time. Otherwise, it's also kind of ugly. But let me write a lint check quickly for this RHS thing. I'm just going to write a regular expression for that. So it should be, actually, it should be just very easy, because anytime that there is some character that is not a word character, so a word character and non-word character. So if I have a non-word character, and then I have exactly LHS, and then after that again non-word character, then I think we want to have that. And you can see basically that it's always this example in my code, so I can just copy and paste that. And yeah, it is matching one character, but we don't want to use this as a catch group, or to put it differently, I want to have this in the catch group. So we're just catching the LHS part, because we're going to replace that part. with something else. And the same I can do with R as well, and this should work as well. Yeah, easy. So the regex here is very, very simple to write. And let's actually add this to our AnyLint checker. So this is the configuration of the tool AnyLint. You can see that. Also, it's not flying soft, it's flying dev by now. And yeah, let's just copy and paste and add a new one. So we want to check the file contents, and we want to provide an autocorrect replacement with examples. And for those who don't know, in comparison, this is basically something like the custom rules feature of SwiftLint, but this supports matching examples and non-matching examples. So this will, like here, matching examples and non-matching examples. So this basically tests your regex before it runs it, to make sure that this regex really matches the matching and doesn't match the non-matching. It's basically a unit test. And also it supports autocorrection if you just provide an autocorrecting replacement. And you can even test the autocorrection by just providing examples, and it will make sure that this one gets corrected to this one, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't run it and just tells you about it. But what I basically have, I think I'm going to name them just left and right, which is I think also clear, but like there's more different characters and it's harder to overlook that. So let's say left, right, comparison. I think they're always on comparisons. Comparison param naming. Comparison param naming. So this is what we're going to call this, and I'm just going to say don't use LHS and RHS. Go for left and right instead. Let's add a reason. Using LHS or RHS is prone to errors, or is error prone. Prefer left, right instead. And we have our regular expression here. And yeah, we could provide one non-matching example. So let's add ALHS something, ALHS. Maybe there is a word where we will have exactly these combinations that can use something like that. I don't know. And this should not match. Same for, let's just use normal strings here, and same for RHS. So maybe something like, I don't know. Then we have our autocorrect replacement, and we basically want to replace it that we basically have to catch these as well, because we want to keep whatever is before and after that. So we're going to keep, and we don't need these here as well. We are going to keep the first match. We're going to rename the second one to left, and we're going to keep the right match, which is number 3. So this should basically replace it. And to make sure that we are not making any changes in our project if it doesn't work as expected, let's actually add this example here. So I expect this to be changed to left, comma, exactly this. And I think one of that is enough. Although actually there is going to be, like, if we override a equatable extension, so we have equatable here, for example, and if we just say category selector state static func, and then we have this thing here auto-generated for us. That's also very common, where we have LHS and RHS. So let me also add this example. And let's delete it again. So and expect the LHS to be replaced by left. I'm going to copy the same thing. This is the comparison param naming left. And this is right. And this is RHS. Actually, we don't need this example here. And we don't need this example here, or non-matching example. And let's replace this with RHS. Oops, no. What we actually want is, this is LHS and this is right. Same here. And now let's run this and see if it works. Although I want to first place it in the proper place, so we keep things alphabetically sorted. So we had called this something with C. Oh, this is not alphabetically sorted anyways. So we have something with C. I want to place it at the top here actually. Then we have something with D here. Okay, now it's also sorted, and now let's run this in the command line and see if it's going to work. So it has to build because it hasn't been built for the latest Xcode version, I guess. Usually this doesn't need to be done in incremental builds. And here we go. So it reports that it found 8 occurrences of the param naming left, and our regexes and tests all worked. Otherwise, it would have basically told us. And I can quickly show you by just saying, doing change. For example, if we expected this to be changed to righty instead of right, and we run any lint, it will just fail and say, hey, this doesn't work as expected. Autocorrecting did not result in expected output. Before was this version, after is this, and expected is this. So that's basically how the test works. So it doesn't make any changes in that case, but everything was working. So it did make changes, and it's also telling us what it did. So it replaced this part with this, basically. And I think that should exactly be what we expect. So left, right. The only problem is it's only renaming it here, but it's also renaming it in the place where we're using it. So our code actually works in the usage side as well. Great, so we have added custom lint auto correcting lint check for LHS RHS to be right, left right. So that's a small improvement there. But let's get back to our actual business. So we have the iOS app running. And we could just work through our list. We already have a list here. And the first thing mentioned here is edit category views, view buttons are disabled. Oh, we already had that. I added it here, but it's here already. So why are they disabled? That's the big question now that we're going to try to figure out. Edit categories, and they are not clickable. Let's have a look at the edit category view. There's not even a enabled or disabled call here, although there is one here. Section, but this is the save button. And I didn't even see a save. Is this the right view? Settings, edit category view. I'm not sure. I think this is a different one. Yeah, it's this, and then could be this view. I know it's the detail view when we edit one. So if we change this to this mode and we click edit here, this is what's being shown. Okay. That's a different thing we need to solve as well. But let's focus on this part, and this is not there. It's in this place. So edit categories, edit summaries. I think it's a different view. Let me check that. So we are in timer view, the timer feature. And from in here, when edit categories, category selector, I guess. Select category selector view. There we go. Maybe this is it. Yes, this is the view. So do we have disabled here somewhere? I can see we have a picker with a for each and a tag. I don't see any disabling here, so we don't have any code that makes this disabled. We do have some warnings added ourselves though. Pickers on update, for some wrapping could lead to crash. Yeah, that's for the name. Category selector. Okay, why a picker could get disabled? So SwiftUI picker disabled. Is it because we is it maybe because we need to navigate? So when I'm here, it is possible that a picker in iOS does not support something like a drop-down, and it always has to navigate. And maybe because this is not sitting in a navigation view, it's just disabling the button because it will not work anyways. Maybe that's the reason. Let me try that out. So if I have a look here, it also looks disabled in the previous here. Yeah, it's disabled. If I run this, I can't click that. I can click these, but I can't click that. So they are disabled and even the preview. So let's quickly test with the preview. I will just put this into navigation view. Yeah, as you can see now they are enabled. So that's the issue. Easy. So in iOS we need to have it to be in a navigation view. On macOS we don't need that because the picker is just a drop down. This is an interesting difference. Yeah, it's pollen season and My nose is running during pollen season, so, but it's manageable. Okay. So we need to put this into navigation view on iOS. If we do it on macOS, it will look something like this, which we don't want. So we can, we could fix this from other places. So in the preview, we will just make a difference. We will say something like navigation view if it's iOS. Can we say like if OS? I guess the other way around. If it's macOS, we just use this directly. And else, we'll put it into a navigation view. See if that works. macOS looks good, iOS looks good as well. So this works in the preview, and now let's do something similar from where we call or include category selector view. So let's quickly search for that. So we're calling it from within the timer view here. Let's switch to the timer feature. And it's an H stack, and then we have a button, and we say open it as a sheet. So that's how we're doing it. We're opening a sheet and we're just showing it directly here. And we could do the same code here like we did in the preview. We could say if OS and things like that. So just going to use this code here and here. No preview variants, of course, and this should fix it actually. Let's run this now in the preview. Let's run the preview first. So when I run this in the preview, this is the preview, and I click edit categories, I get the drop downs. I don't know why I get it twice. Okay, this is probably a SwiftUI preview issue. And if I do it here, add categories, I can navigate. Okay, selection somehow doesn't work in the previews, but I think this is looking much better. Let's see how the iOS lab looks like now. Cancelled? Why cancelled? Okay, add the categories, and here we go. So we have now this area, which I guess is related to title bar somehow. That's a different thing to fix, but at least they are now clickable. So can we easily fix that? Can I just add a title? In the case of not macOS, I could just say in this content here, that I call title, navigation bar, title, navigation title, configures the view's title for purposes of navigation. Title of this navigation view, this view's navigation bar with this, I think this is the right one. And we're just going to give it the name of edit categories. Yeah, this kind of looks okay, but it still has this part here. And I guess that's because we basically need to move the close button there. That's basically the title bar there. So I'm going to keep this, but we will have to move also within this view the button elsewhere. So we have this here, the close button. This says already provide a different style on iOS. This is Mac optimized. So let's make this if OS, Mac OS. And in the case of iOS, maybe we can do it here. Let's try. in the case of iOS, we basically want to say, what was that? Let me look it up quickly. So we want to put something into the navigation bar. Navigation bar items, was it that? I think it was, yeah, items and then trailing. Something like that. Trailing items and just an H stack with buttons in here. I think it's something similar. So we could say, but they're doing it inside the navigation bar somewhere random. So we could just say empty view dot navigation bar items trailing, and we'll be back and continue right after the break. And we're back. Welcome to the chat, Farish31. How are you doing? How was your week? How was your Friday? And also, by the way, I forgot to thank all the new followers. So Avatar VN, thank you for following. And Adoni0709, thank you as well. And Rock Life, thank you too. Great, thank you. That's cool to hear. Are you looking forward to the weekend? And as you're new here, are you a developer? Are you an iOS developer? So we were just on adding these navigation bars for iOS. So macOS, showing this button on iOS, we want to show, and it looks like we can just, is this a closure? This is actually a view directly. Yeah. I am an iOS SwiftUI developer. That's great. So are you new to iOS development? Are you more experienced? And are you working in a company right now, or are you just learning? What's like your current state? So we have to pass a view here, and I'll just pass a button because we just basically want to have a button. And let me do it this way. So with action and label. Matt Damon 1980 198, what's up? I'm great. How are you doing? What's up with you? What are you playing right now? How was your day? The action, we still want to do the same like here, so it's the same action, and the label also the same. So we could actually go and, yeah, we could just reuse this code actually. We don't need to create a different button. So this should work, and let me try building. Let's see if this is building. Looking good actually. Farish, 2 years of experience, work as a mentor for startup and teaching SwiftUI on freelance. That sounds like you're quite experienced, so you might actually be able to help me here, because I'm playing around with SwiftUI since day one, because I'm always following new stuff. But I have only written 2 smaller apps in SwiftUI for now, and this is now my 4th app. I'm currently working in my private project, private freelancing or indie time. I'm working on a 3rd app, and this is basically the 4th app. I'm good, just came from school. How was school? How was your week? Did you learn something new? Did you have fun with friends there? So you're a mentor for whom? Is it like for within your teaching SwiftUI or freelance? You're making money with teaching? Are you basically a SwiftUI teacher? Is that your job? Here we go. We do have, what's this thing here? Is this a detail view? But now we have a close button, and it does close the view, just as expected. And we no longer have the close button at the bottom, and we have this weird white view. And that might be because, oh no, that's not white. Why is there a white view there? So we have a list, Ah, because we have a list, maybe? What's that white view? That's really weird. We have a frame min width, okay, min height. Oh, we are calculating the height here. Let me remove this actually. Let's see what the view will look like on iOS then. Still this weirdness. So we could as well keep it. Actually, it's lame, but I just remembered that you're streaming and now I'm better. Ah, don't worry, that's not lame. That's not lame, don't worry about that. Everybody feels down at sometimes, and that's totally normal. And I'm happy that you're happy that I'm streaming. That's cool to hear. Social media app mentor, expertise in creating social media apps with SwiftUI, Firebase, Agora.io. I don't know that. What's that? Agora.io. Real-time voice and video engagement. Okay. I see. Something like Zoom, maybe? No, I mean school. I just remember that I'm streaming now. I'm better. It's lame because we don't have IT, okay? Not you're lame, but the school is lame. Yeah, I totally get that. And in German schools, we don't have much IT expertise. At least not in most of them. Of course, there can always be one or two that are really great in that. But then it's just the teachers who made that work, and it's not the system that made it work. But anyways, I think we have fixed the main issue here. And my nose is really running hard now. Ah, these pollen seasons. Okay, so this is basically done. I think we can complete that, even though we still have a UI bug there with the white area, but that's so in your face, I will not overlook that. So I think we can just close this and move this to the progress list. Let's actually commit this. Yeah, it's looking good. And this as well. So make fix disabled buttons on iOS due to missing navigation view. Yes, like Zoom. Okay. By the way, because we have some more people here, let me repeat that. If you're not following me on YouTube yet, the link is just in the chat. We have 65 subscribers already, and if I reach to 100, then I can finally rename this ugly thing to FlyNav. So make sure to follow me there so we can get closer to that 100. So I can actually rename, because this is really bugging me. That is the yeah, my channel's name is that ugly thing there. I'd like to rename it to FlyNav, and I need 100 subscribers for that. Before that, you can't rename. I don't know why, but that's how YouTube rolls. Okay, back to work. Let's see what's the next thing we can fix. So move close button in the category edit view to the top bar. I think we have just done that as well. Yeah, this is exactly the same view, so this is completed. Move close button in the edit summary up. So we have edit summary. And I think we're going to just do the same changes there as well. So we just had category selector view. And we have just basically provided a navigation view for that. And we're going to do the same. Here it is. And we're going to do the same for the summary as well, which is this place here. So we're calling the summary here. I'll just do the same as above. We're just saying if it's on macOS, we're running this part, else we're going to run the same basically, but wrapped in navigation view. There we go. And like with the other view, which was the category selector view, where we had now this part added instead of using the button at the bottom of the screen. We're going to do the same in the reflection view as well. So we also have a close button here, and we can remove this now because we're fixing it right now. Let's do if OS macOS, then do this thing, and then else do that thing, and let's reuse this button. Although it's probably the same. Oh, it's not the same. Oh wait, so this is not localized. Interesting. Let's use action global dot a global action dot close. So this gets localized properly. Oops. Now it should be the same. Yes. Cool, that should fix that as well. Let's rerun the application. So now we should also have this here at the top. Looking good, but it's actually a reserving place for the title, but there is no title. Also, you can see that there's this entry here, so let's fix both. First we have this empty view, and this might be the issue on the other place as well. So we might want to just tag this to some other place. This is the form. Let's just tag it on the form itself. So we're just going to say if OS is, I think we can just go iOS. Then we're going to add navigation bar items. And that way we can just remove this part, and this should now work much better. Same for, where were we before? Same for the category selector view. Let's actually tag this down below on the VStack. Let me just do it this way. If OS, iOS. And otherwise, just do it like this. And we can also remove this warning then. Yeah, this should look much better. So let's have a look at the app now. And lastly, we will add the navigation tile. So we have this still working, and this is also working. And also we have just now fixed the white thing here, which was because of the empty view. That makes sense. So we have fixed both, and here the title is missing. Let's add that as well. And also I want to change the title style. Actually, I think this is taking too much space. It could just be here, and I think that's much better. So we're going to change that as well. Let's go to navigation title. Navigation bar title, sorry. We named it edit categories, and we can also say navigation title style display mode. There we go. And it has the display mode automatic, large, and inline, and we're just going to use inline. And of course we want to translate this, so let's do that. Let's call body crouch translate, and the key is going to be, I think we already have some here. Yes, we're just calling timer dot and edit categories button in this case. Is this correct? Let me think about it. Yeah, why not? Edit categories Well, this is actually a screen. So this is edit categories. Edit categories. Okay, how are we calling things inside of this view? This is Elton and Global, Elton and Global. So there's no names for here yet. I'm going to instead, okay, I'm going to give it a name now, and we're calling it edit categories screen.title, and we provide some translations here like edit categories and okay, this can be replaced now by just running body crouch update and SwiftGen. Oops, something's wrong here. Are we in the wrong directory? Yes, I think we need to run this from Open Focus Timer. There we go. And oh no, this because I ran it from the wrong place. Now it's replaced wrongly. I have to call it manually now, which is settings categories screen.title. This should compile. It's not. Okay, actually let me, okay, I can't go back. Let me retry. Body crouch translate. Okay, now it should work. And we want to do the same with the edit summary as well. So let's just add these. Make this inline too, and replace this with body crouch translate. Timer dot edit summary screen dot title. How do we translate summary? Let me actually look that up in German. Summary. Zusammenfassung, okay. This is a mouthful, but it's replaced now. How do you find SwiftUI? Is it mature enough? Yeah, that's a very common question, and I see SwiftUI as entirely positive thing because it's basically saving us a lot of time if we can use it. And so if you can like go for iOS 13 or later, it's saving us a lot of time for everything that it supports, and everything that it does not support yet, you can still use UIKit and just wrap it and include it in SwiftUI. So from my point of view, it's been mature from day one basically, and maybe not really day one, maybe the second year, because then they changed a lot of APIs. Not too much, but like some APIs changed a bit. And so you have to adjust, yeah, like how you're working, and some things didn't really work that well. But nowadays, I think you have to always consider nothing is ever really perfect. Yeah, from SwiftUI 2, I think it was more or less mature with like the most problematic bugs fixed. Still, there's a lot of bugs here, but most bugs here you can work around. And the thing is, you have bugs with UIKit as well. even with UIKit you have bugs. Of course, it's less now in UIKit, but to be honest, it's still taking more time to write the same UI I write now in SwiftUI really quickly. It's going to take me more time to write that in UIKit. So from my point of view, it's fully mature. I think some companies are going to still wait with switching because they just have so many developers who are real pros in UIKit, and they just have more confidence in bringing things to life with UIKit. But I'm always forward-looking. I'm always thinking about, okay, when I write code now, then am I going to be happy with that code in 5 years from now when I want to update it or add a feature? And I'm always thinking long-term that way, and that's why I think it's absolutely no. I don't even have a second thought if I want to use UIKit. It's absolutely clear that I'm going to be using SwiftUI, but I can understand in some situations it might make sense to stick with UIKit for now, even right now. It saves you a lot of time until you hit the one thing that seems like it should be super easy but doesn't make sense for some reason, and then you sit there banging your head against your keyboard. Speaking from current experience. So what's your situation? What are you running into? One thing I noticed is my macOS application, that with SwiftUI it's kind of different, or maybe it's not thought out yet how multi-windows work. I mean, there are Windows support on the top level, so you can see if I go here to my app level, you can see I have a window group here, a window group there in the settings, and on iOS I just have one window group. But still, this kind of feels not great because I can't really navigate between windows. I don't know if that was better in UIKit because I've never developed a macOS application before SwiftUI. And that's also something great about SwiftUI is I can now write macOS apps with confidence. I don't feel like I don't have any idea of how it works because it works more or less the same. There are just a few differences. For example, I have Windows support, obviously, but yeah, that's like everything else is the same, and a lot of code I can actually reuse. You see, like in this stream I am adjusting the things that I can't reuse, but I think it's really great. And best answer, thanks. Also tvOS, yeah, exactly. I can also run, probably I could also run this in tvOS. The only thing is a timer on tvOS. I'm not really sure if that's really useful. Actually, maybe it is useful. Timer on tvOS might be interesting if you if the app supported something like a background video or something like that, so you could have like a really chill environment. It's not great for the environment because if you're using your big TV screen, just like letting it run for a timer, which you could do also on your phone, you're wasting a lot of energy. So I don't think I'm going to focus on that anytime soon. For cooking, yeah, for cooking it would also be great, but again, you could just use your phone for cooking as well. So I'm not thinking about a tvOS app for now. Let's stick with macOS and iOS, and maybe I'll have some, or somebody in the community will have some great idea for a tvOS application, and then of course we can do that as well. Trying to make a view with subviews in different corners of the same view while leaving the view at the smallest size possible, so spacer doesn't work. Trying to make a view with subviews in different corners of the same view. Okay, so you have... do you have some code that you want me to just play around with? Because I'm always asking for a Swift code that I can play around with. Maybe you can just extract something for me, and then I could play around with it in a playground or something. But I think you're talking about you have something like this and you want to have a subview here and a subview there, right? That's what you're talking about. And you want them to use as in the smallest size possible. So you want to have a view here, and why can't you have a spacer and then here? So like having an H stack here. So you have a V stack, and then you have a spacer at the bottom. So let me quickly sketch this. Yeah, I should do it here. Why don't you just use like a V stack, then H stack, spacer at the bottom, then you have your top left view, spacer, top right view. What's wrong with this? So maybe you can tell me why this doesn't work for you. As I understand it, that's what you're trying to do. And you want to leave this entire view at the smallest size possible? Is that what you were talking about? I guess that's what you mean. Okay, do spacers make that this doesn't scale to the smallest size possible? And yeah, it kind of makes sense because you're basically telling SwiftUI here, hey, please use all space you can have outside and fill it with emptiness. The question is, I don't quite understand your use case. So why would you want something that is as small as possible but have like things in the corners without knowing like the exact size? I mean, if you specify the exact frame sizes, it should work too. Yeah, that's the view, but needs to stay small. There's a bunch of these views in their own H stack. So the spacer in the V stack means they all end up the same height. So you have like an H stack around this. And then you have multiple of these. And then they all have the same height. Okay, I think I really need to understand your use case to be able to give any advice. But I'm sure you already figured out things and played around. I mean, there is also grid view, maybe collection view, something like that. I'll try to get a screenshot up of what's going on. That would be great. That would be really helpful. Then I would understand better. Okay, well, let me try to continue here on our front as well. So we have now moved the close button and the edit summary up as well. That's been done, I think. Let me just check. Let's double check if everything is working. I think we just translated also stuff. Yeah, we added the navigation bar tile to edit summary. And it's not here. Edit categories is here, and this is not here. Why is that? Are we adding it wrong? Yes, of course we're adding it outside. We have to move this inside. Now it should work. There we go. Still some spacing here, but I guess that's like the normal space we have. Yeah, that's fine though. Do you have a LinkedIn account? I do have a LinkedIn account. I don't know, I don't really use LinkedIn or Xing actively, but I do have an account. You can just search for my name. I think you should find me. It shouldn't be that hard. Just give my full name. You can see my full name in my about page, Jihad Gunduz, and I think you should be able to find me there. You can find me on Twitter, where I'm more active. If you want to follow me, basically, then just go to Twitter. Oops. Exactly, same name like here. Move tab bar up and use segmented control instead. So yeah, let's go to this screen now. Well, let me actually commit our changes. So this is done, this is done. And actually, I think we want to also adjust one more thing, and that's what we've done here in the category selector view is we have adjusted the preview so we can work with the proper iOS preview. And I want to do the same here as well with the reflection view. I think we have not done this. Yeah, there we go. So we want to have the view directly like we did before on macOS. And actually there is some macOS only code here, which we no longer need to call macOS only because it's already macOS only now. And here we want to have this, not just this, but inside. This should make sure that we have the right previews. Let's test that also. Reflection feature, let's run the preview, see if it looks with a navigation bar included. And actually one more thing, I might want to move these tiles inside the view here. Let's just do it here, because then we can also see that in the preview, which I prefer. Great, now we should be able to go to reflection view, and we should now see in the preview also the navigation tile, hopefully. Yes, there we go, and double checking that also the name category selector view, category selector, that this also shows around preview. Barish31, thank you for following. Much appreciated. And somehow this doesn't update. Because we are doing things that is not available in macOS. Yes, let's add a OS iOS. I didn't know that these were not available. It's interesting to know. And this should fail in the other place as well, actually. I don't know why it didn't. Go, 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 you can do it. What's going on? Let's build. Update to preview. It should actually update now. Somehow doesn't work. Let me run this to force it to update. And it somehow still doesn't update. Okay, the SwiftUI preview is having problems, but let me check the app. That's the most important part. If it builds, because in the other place there, here we have added this, and in the other place it said this isn't supported on macOS. So I wonder why this is not running, showing an error, because we're running the iOS app. That's probably why. Let me run the macOS app. Let's see if it fails now. Yeah, it does fail. Let's add the if iOS. Now it's building again. Oh, CocoTab has posted the screenshot. Let me have a look. Okay, so this is okay. Which part of this are you trying to, like, what are you trying to change here? I don't want those two columns the same size. Okay. Because one has 10 and one has 4, they should be different sizes. Ah, I see. You're trying to create something like a flow layout where you have like entries here and entries there. Can you give a explicit height? I'm trying to implement a single card view. Like this. Okay, can you give this thing inside a fixed height? Have you considered that? Fixed size, horizontal, something like this. You could say fixed size. You could work with fixed size. Maybe that will help. Like I can do. So the green thing is the 200 to 100, I think. and then you can size fix vertically or fix horizontally. And you could also just work with a frame that has a specific height. That might work. Geometry reader could also work, of course, but geometry reader is like a lot of work. I prefer not to. The text could theoretically be long, and dynamic type would wreck it too. Dynamic type would wreck it. So is this user inputted text? Do you have really no control about the length? And you mean the text too, probably. That's going to be able to get longer. What could you do there? That's an interesting problem. Let's explore this a little bit. So can I create a playground? Do we have previews for playgrounds? Single view. Let's call this carts. Let's see if I get a SwiftUI preview. I think we can get a SwiftUI preview if we create a preview. So Swift Xcode playground SwiftUI preview. I remember that we can get one. Yeah, I just want to quickly copy something. Playground current set live view, content view, playground support. Oh, it's already there, but it's using a view controller. Instead, we want to just import SwiftUI. Oh wait, I'll be back in a minute. The doors rang. Okay, back now. Sorry for that. It took a while this time. So I'm getting the box. I had to get the box from outside, basically myself. Didn't want to bring it in. So yeah, user input text. I prefer not to. The text is limited to one line, but text one isn't. Never mind, I'm dumb. I figured it out. Fixed. Okay. Let me check. I realized I could use another H stack to align that bottom image. It's too late for me here. My brain isn't working. Yeah, okay, so you figured it out. That's cool. So the solution was I could use another H stack to align that bottom image. So that was your problem. Okay. Yeah, then I think that was a simple solution. Anyways, great to help helped without doing anything. That's always like sometimes really helpful if you just show your stuff to someone else, or you have to explain it to someone else, then you immediately find a solution yourself. That really happens sometimes, and we no longer need this file, but the image is now in an H stack with text too. Yeah. Okay. So previously it was not. Previously, you had this image in its own place and you were trying to put it here somehow differently. And I guess you had like a Z stack, or how did you do that? Did you have this like with frame alignment left, something like that, and this frame alignment right, or leading and trailing? Is that how you tried to do it? And yeah, obviously H stack is the easiest solution here. And if that works for you, great. Then we solved it. Okay, let's continue here. Move tab bar up and use segmented control instead. Yeah, that was the next thing we want to do, but let's first finish up our commit. Oh, we have text twice here now. I think this one is what we don't want. Let's also delete this one line. There we go, looking better. Same here. There we go. This is looking good, this too. Okay. So we have adjust timer detail views for iOS using navigation view. Oh, and we have some issues here. Now autocorrection is destroying things, and this is the autocorrection of Swift format, I believe. How can we fix this? Maybe this helps? Same here. So I had an outer H stack with the V stack of the two texts. Oh, let's skip that for now. Two texts and another V stack of spacer and the image, and that's what was growing. Now it's a single V stack with text 1 and an H stack of text 2 and the image. Yeah, makes sense. So you no longer need spacers, and that's why it's fixing your issue, right? That's basically the fix, not to use spacers if you don't need them. That was also what was confusing me, because if you use a spacer, you're basically telling the system, hey, please fill this thing with as much space as possible, and then that's why it's not auto-growing. And yeah, if you just have content and you're not trying to fill a screen or an outer view, then you shouldn't use spacers. You should just use a you shouldn't use spacers outside, like a left view and then a spacer. I think if you have a spacer in the middle, it will still work, or could work. I think it will work. I don't know. I have not enough experience to be 100% sure about what I just said. I'm just talking about my experience so far. Is this going to prevent autocorrect? I'm fixing this. Let me try to commit again. And no, it's doing it again. Okay, so who is doing this change? I'm thinking this is done by Swift format. Let's try to fix Swift format configuration. Format. Which one is it though? Indentation, indent, switch case. I think it could be something with indent. Yeah, I just couldn't figure out how to get that image over there without a spacer, but I figured it out now. Great. Just H stack to your rescue. Anyway, that's life from me here. Have a good rest of your stream or day. Thank you very much for jumping in. Have a nice day too. And yeah, I'll be making sure, like, if you're interested really in that WWDC thing, let's definitely discuss that. You can ping me on Twitter for that, and then we can figure out the details, how we're going to do that. Otherwise, have a nice, have a good night. See you. Okay, let me actually check if this is the one that is making this fix. So if I just change this back to what I want it to look like, and this too, and this is fine by me, so this can be changed. Now let's run things manually. So we have the build script, I think. And we are running Swift format like this. Now we'll just run the linter instead of the formatter to see which rule is. And it says reflection, yeah, remove line and indentation. But remove line is the first that's appearing, and let's have a look at that. Remove line, where is it? Remove line. That's interesting, it's not listed here. I cannot configure this. Or can I? to dig into the GitHub repo. What was the Swift format? Remove line. Remove line break. White space finding category. So something with white space maybe. Let's look for a white space. For white, that's not even there. Can I still fix it by turning something off? Yes, or what's on? Indent conditional compilation, that's true. Indentation, file scoped. Always lowercase, ambiguous trailing. Do not use. Don't repeat type and static properties, file scope decoration, fully indirect. No access, no block comments, no cases, no empty trailing. No labels, parent around conditions, ordered imports, return nodes. I can't find a configuration option for that, to be honest. And my feeling is that it might just be a false positive. So maybe remove line postfix. Okay, so I will just add this as an example of what is getting autocorrected. So let me make a nice screenshot here. What it's telling me to change. I think this is the relevant part. What's the title? February 18. How should I name issues that I report here? This is all new. This is the first issue I'm reporting. Being reported, even since the migration to GitHub, it looks like. That's interesting. Very interesting. But anyhow, the problem is false positive for remove line. False positive for remove line when using if. Statements, declarative, it's always the terminology. I'm going to call it directive. I've just ran across a weird auto correction and linting warning with code when try to provide. That was iOS only, right? Yeah, iOS only. And try to provide iOS only modifiers in a SwiftUI view. See this showing warnings in Xcode, they look like this. And this is the image. And when running the linter, and running the lint command in Xcode, the warnings look like this. Well, I have to go now to the mosque. Have fun while streaming. Yeah, have fun. Have a nice Friday prayer. And when running the corrections, it will format corrects my code to this. Which is ugly, in my opinion. Let's run build script. Oh, it's not here. Oh, I just see I have to. Oh no, I don't. It was all right. Build script. Take a screenshot. GitHub issue templates. I think that was the name, right? Issue and pull request templates. The GitHub really doesn't seem to have an issue template yet. So with things like steps to reproduce, expected state, etc. It feels weird being the first reporting an issue without the SR prefix. Migration from Jira. Sweats. So Okay. And let's also add our, I think I had a shortcut here, but I always forget. Footer, yeah. Okay, we've reported it. The question is, how can I turn it off? That's maybe something I should mention as well. I also couldn't find a configuration option to turn it off. But we might be able to ignore. I think there is something for ignoring. Did I use it anywhere? Swift format. Okay, I think there is. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm going to use that. Ignore. Skip. Disable. This documentation is really lacking. Skip. Okay, I think it was called disable. Disable. Ignore disable options. There we go. Ignoring source. That's the entire file. So format ignore. So this might work. Let's revert this and that too. Remove line. Same we have here as well. Maybe we can remove it at the end of the line. And this is indentation. Let me build again. See if the warnings disappear now. And we have the brick waiting for us since quite a while. I do want to make this commit before I continue. Did I mistype this? Looks like it. Maybe we have to put it one line before. Okay, I don't know what it's going to suggest here, but that's weird. Anyhow, let's go to the other file as well, but I have to quickly run this, see what's going to happen. It's still autocorrecting this. Why isn't it ignoring it? Oh no, it isn't autocorrect. It didn't, sorry. What's going on? Oh, okay, I just corrected something here, something there. Oh no, those are my own changes, but it's doing this weird thing. False positives. Oh, Monsieur B just subscribed for 4 months in a row. Welcome to the stream, and such a great saying hello. Wow, thank you very much for subscribing again. Hi there. I'm great. How are you? How are you doing? How was your week? How are things going? That's great to see that. So we were just reporting some false positives for Swift format. We have found false positives. Turn these warnings off too, but maybe both. This week was not super nice. Happy it's the end of it. Oh, that's bad to hear that. Yeah, I actually also didn't make that much progress this week because I was kind of refactoring my app. I'm not talking about this app, I'm talking about my private app, but I'm actually quite happy about the refactoring. So not much progress, but still happy about it. Otherwise, everything is great. Yeah, but is the weather nice around you? It's really nice here right now. It's actually so hot that I'm kind of sweating here. And yeah, so we have remove line and indentation. Both remove line and indentation are false positives in my opinion, and I couldn't find either of these rows in the config file. Okay. Otherwise, everything's good. Are you looking forward to WWDC? Are you planning anything for DubDub? I have actually tweeted about this here. So let me share this again. Maybe you have seen it already. But basically, I want to know if anybody is interested, like not you as a streamer, but if viewers are interested in yeah, doing something special for WWDC. And just 25 votes till now, so if more people are going to take part in this, and I think at least it should be 100, then I'm going to consider that definitely interest, and then maybe Monsieur B, you wanna, Jeremy, you wanna take part in this. I don't know if you're interested. After things didn't went that well in our Apple event when we tried it for that. I'm planning to do the same for the core data part of the meter. It's more than required. This part doesn't really follow the MAVM pattern. You mean doing refactoring? The refactoring I did actually was, let me also go back to Twitter, because it's actually quite funny. Oh, wrong button. It's actually quite funny because I made a survey about, where is it? Here it is. So basically I surveyed how you're doing error handling, if you're doing throwing functions or result type. And you can check out some sample code I have provided here, which is basically the same. One is throwing, you can see async throws, and the other one is returning result type. So returning a result void in this case, and a specific error. And I really like the typed error thing, and that's why I basically migrated over to result. And yeah, people have taken part in this, and this is the survey results. So more people prefer actual result. And then I posted something while I was doing the migration. I had a random thought. I said, random thought I just had when my mind wandered from coding. If people ask if they should migrate to a new tool or API, for example, from combine to async await. So that's what I'm doing right now. Here's a metaphorical answer. When you buy a new hammer, do you pull all the nails out of the walls and hammer them in again? So that's basically the thought I had. And I also gave an answer, no, of course you don't. So why should you rewrite all your code? And while I wrote this, I am actually currently rewriting I was rewriting all my combined code to async await. So I was writing this, but I was doing the opposite, and that's like the fun story behind that. I'm not there, but appreciate to have a look at this afterwards. I see. I will take the whole week off to be able to follow, and will be probably streaming about it a lot. Then my personal duty will allow it. When my personal duty. I see. Good luck with that. Looking forward to watching your stream then as well. But I'm going to be quite busy watching WWDC myself in that week. Yeah, but that's that. Let's get back to work. So how do we deal with these things? We're going to add these comments. And let me retry. I think this is thinking that this is something like a new type or something. Yeah, this definitely is a false positive. Just can't handle if OS and things like that. So it should be fixed in the library. But until it's fixed, we're going to have to deal with some something like this. So this doesn't look great, but turning it off didn't actually work. Indentation. It just didn't turn it off. Still reporting it. Although I can try maybe again. Yeah, it's still correcting it. Let me also add that. I already closed that. Go to the issues. Configure also turning off the indentation or disabling the indentation didn't work. This still shows a violation. Let me add the full line. But is it the right view? Edit category screen title. Which one did I report? I reported the edit category screen. Which one was that? Yeah, I think this should be good enough. Okay, I think that is good. So we're going to just ignore this until that's fixed. Go back to here, and this is the last thing to change. Let's remove this. Yeah, this kind of works. Let's commit that, and I think this is already end of stream because it's about time for me to have a lunch break. So let's quickly summarize. We have move bar use, and this is the next thing we're going to do. Fix sizing of context. Exactly. So we have done these things, and we have also just report report false positives to Swift format. Link that to the issue, And that's basically our progress. So problem was false positives in Swift format, preventing us from committing. And yeah, that's basically it for this stream. So I'll be back in about an hour for everybody watching this on Twitch live. Thank you everybody for chiming in, and for Monsieur B specifically for the subscription. So thank you very much, it's very much appreciated. And I'll be back in a few minutes, and if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like it, and I'll be back later. So have a nice time and see ya. Bye.